Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about the worksheet you need to work on called Derivative Day. Now, this video is going to be quite short because I'm just giving you the information on what you have to do for this worksheet. It's a pretty typical worksheet. It's actually a copy from your textbook. And what it is a bunch of derivative questions. I figured you needed a whole day just practicing derivatives because on the exam, it's not going to say use product rule in this derivative or use implicit differentiation on this derivative. It's not even going to say use ln on this derivative. It's just going to say calculate y prime. And so I want you to have some practice doing all sorts of different y prime questions all mixed together. Some inverse trigs, some regular ones, product quotient, you name it. There's every derivative you could find on this worksheet. And so go ahead and take a look at all the questions you see here. There's a few numbers that I've omitted, and so they're not on this page. If you were looking in your textbook, you'll see, for example, there's a question 48, but I've covered it up here on this worksheet. Just because some of the questions involve concepts that we didn't cover, things like hyperbolic functions, which there's like an h on the sine h, and it's really not relevant, so we're not going to be covering those derivatives. But on the next page and all the subsequent pages are the full solutions for these. So I'll show you an example of one of the solutions. For example, question number 1. Now if you look at question 1, you'll see why I included the full solutions. The first step is what you would expect to do. You've got a power rule and then you've got a chain rule and you're done. This right here is your answer. Full marks right here if you write your question just like this. However, the textbook loves to simplify, and so the answer in the back of your textbook likely looks like this, where they've done something fancy with some factoring and they've rearranged some terms, and I don't want you necessarily having to do that. In fact, I don't want you doing that. There are other times in the course where we'll simplify, but for right now, we're just focusing on doing the derivative. And so for each one of these, the first step is always going to be the answer you want. So usually something like this, or if you want, you can write it in terms of radicals, maybe something like this. But don't go ahead and simplify it any more than that. Don't go ahead and combine terms. Don't do anything like that. On the exam, you're only going to be expected to do the derivative, and it will say clearly do not simplify. So I wanted to include the full solutions so you could see the first step where they actually do the derivative, because the just straight answers in the back of the book have only the simplified version, which is sometimes hard to determine how they got there. So make sure you take a look at all these questions and of course check your answers as you go. Other than that, we'll be looking at some new concepts tomorrow. Thanks for watching.